generations. And now, the power of two restores the one.
We got a bidet! Hey everybody, and welcome back for another Game Nights with Dyad. We are covering Wink today. This is a fun party game to play with your friends. We need 4 to 8 players. The ages from 8 to adult, and you need about 20 to 30 minutes to play the entire game. Like I said, it's a great game to play with a bunch of people. It's hilarious amongst your friends. So let's go ahead, talk about the setup, then we'll talk about some gameplay for Wink. So check it out. So the setup of the game, there's a whole bunch of colors that people can pick from. So everybody will pick their own color that they want to be, and whatever color that they choose, they're going to take the corresponding token as well. So if we have someone that wants to be blue, somebody that wants to be red, and somebody that wants to be green, and let's do one more. We'll say we got purple. So if we got all those that are playing, we got 4 people playing. So let's go ahead and take those away. We'll have the 4 cards readily available. So we're just going to say that we got, 4 people around the table. And basically what's going to happen now is everybody has their cards, everybody has their tokens, and everybody is going to get 4 accused cards. We'll talk about what that means in a minute. Those are these types of cards. So everybody's going to get 4 of those. So I'm going to give 4 to purple, 4 to green, 4 to blue, and 4 to red. So everybody gets 4 accused cards. Now we need to worry about these cards. So there's 2 different stacks that we got going on here, and there's a white deck and a black deck. It doesn't matter which one you pick to go down in front of everybody, as long as the opposite one is going to be going into everybody's hands. So how does this game work? Well, this game works where we're going to have an entire deck laid out. It's going to be 36 cards. The game recommends doing 6 by 6. You can do whatever's comfortable. I'm going to put the black cards out here so that we can have an example of a grid. So of course, like I said, you're going to be putting all the cards out. I'm just going to use this small grid to tell you and explain to you how it's all going to work. So just keep in mind there will be 36 cards out, not just the 16 that I'm showing you. So it depends on how many players are playing to determine how many cards everybody's going to get. We had 4 players that we were talking about, so everybody would get 7 of the white cards in their hand. So you shuffle the deck and deal out 7 cards to each player. If you happen to have 5 players, you deal out 6. 6 players, you get 5. 7 players, you get 4. 8 players, you get 4. If you go to deal out these cards and there's leftovers, you're going to put those off to the side. You're not going to show anybody what those cards are. They are a mystery. So once we have all one of the color sets laid out, and then the opposite one dealt out to all the players, and we've handed out the accused cards, The setup is complete. We are ready to go. So let's go ahead and talk about some gameplay. So now that we've set up the game, we can go ahead and talk about gameplay. So everybody is going to have cards in their hand. And what you want to do is when it's your turn, you're going to take your token and you're going to pick a card that's out on the playing field that is not in your hand. So for example, this card 35, that is not in my hand. So I can say, I am looking for card number 35. And so other players are going to have these cards in their hand, of course, and you're going to try to see who has that card. How do they communicate that to you? By winking. So for example, maybe player blue has that card in their hand, or maybe player red has the 35 in their hand. Somebody most likely will have it in their hand. If you have a discard pile, it might be in the discard pile. The ones that we didn't use if we had not enough to go around for the whole table. However, most of the time someone's going to have that card in their hand. And so you're going to try to look for somebody that is winking at you. Now, if you pick up that someone winked at you, you're going to wait until the round is completed. Everybody's going to go around. They're going to say, a card that they're looking for. And people are going to try to communicate to each other that they have that card. So I was the purple marker here. So if I saw the blue player wink at me, I'm going to say, okay, I think that player blue had card 35. So then whoever is the blue token, they're going to say whether or not they have the card. If they do have that card, I would take the one from the table and put it under my token card. So this one here. I would pick this up and put it underneath my token card. And then the blue player would take the card from their hand and put it under their token card. So the one that was in the blue player's hand is going to go underneath their token card. Play does go around for the entire group. Each person's going to say who they think has their card. If you saw somebody wink at you, try asking them. See if that was actually supposed to be for you. You never know. If you guess and you are wrong, you're going to go ahead and flip the card over that you were guessing, and then the person that had your card, they get to hold on to that card for the rest of the game. Once it's guessed, it does not get to be guessed a second time. Why it's important to figure out, who has your cards and you're putting cards underneath your token card is because the amount of cards under your token card at the end determines who is the winner. Also, we're going to get to these in a minute, these count as points as well, your accused cards. But we'll get to that in a second. So how does the game end? Well, if all of these cards are spoken for, they're taken up, or they're flipped over, that's one option. Option number 2 is if somebody runs out of cards in their hand. So if either of those situations occur first, that's the end of the game. Now, the last thing to talk about are these accused cards. So, for example, let's say that I was looking for number 35, and the blue player has my card. Blue goes to wink at me, but red over here sees blue wink at me, and they say, oh, I think you have that card. So red would play their accused card, and then they would say, okay, blue, you have card 35. If that is true, then red gets the card that they were accusing of that's on the table and the one that was in blue's hand. If they are incorrect, the game just goes back to normal, and they lose their challenge card or accused card. The system works where if you are going to accuse, you automatically lose your accused card. So even if you are correct, you do not get to retain it. It is if you accuse, it's discarded, or if you accuse and you're wrong, it's discarded as well. But keep in mind, any of them that you have at the end of the game do count as points. If there is a tie, the player who has the fewest accused cards remaining wins the game. If there is still a tie, the player who has the fewest face cards remaining in their hand wins the game. So keep in mind those things as well. Basically, what happens next is the game just continues where people are picking cards, what they're looking for, and we're trying to see, if we can get people to wink at us and collect those cards. And the game, once it's over, tally up your points and decide who is the winner. And that is how you play the party game Wink. Again, it's going to be a hilarious time with all your friends, especially if you're catching each other winking and trying to not get caught. Our friends, we've always had a great time with this game, so I hope you do too. If you enjoy this type of video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way you are notified when future Game Nights with Dyad videos drop. Drops a like if you like the video, and drops a comment letting us know if you've played Wink before, how much fun you've had, or how much fun you look forward to having with Wink. And then, as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.